In this video, we will cover keyboard shortcuts, Lecture 3, Moving Around and Selecting Data. In Part 1, we will cover shortcuts that allow you to move around the workbook quicker. To move one cell over at a time, you can use the right or left arrows. Another option is to use the Tab button to move right, or Shift plus Tab to move left. If you want to quickly move to the last row in a column, Control plus Down will bring you there. If you want to move to the first row in a column, Control plus Up will move you there. If you want to move to the first column in a row, click Control plus Left, or if you want to move to the last column in a row, click Control plus Right. If you want to move to another worksheet, a great shortcut that I use all the time is to click Control plus Page Up, which moves one worksheet to the left, or Control plus Page Down to move one worksheet to the right. Moving to Part 2, Selecting Data. If you want to select all the cells in a row, just click Control plus Shift plus the right arrow, or the left arrow if you want to select from right to left. If you want to select all cells in a column, click Control plus Shift plus Down, or Up if you are starting from the bottom. If you want to select all rows and columns in a table, click Control plus Shift plus the right arrow and then the down arrow, and this will select all of the columns and rows. If you want to select one row at a time, click the first cell, then while holding Shift, click up or down. If you want to select one cell at a time in different columns, select the first cell, then while holding Shift, click left or right. If you want to select the entire column of data without the header from the bottom of a sheet, click Control plus Shift plus Up. Then, while holding just Shift, click Down to move the selection down the desired number of cells. If you want to select the entire row of data without the title or any number of columns, click Control plus Shift plus Right. Then, while holding Shift, click Right to move the selection over the desired number of cells. Now we will cover an Excel example to illustrate these handy keyboard shortcuts. So we have the following spreadsheet where we will show how to use each of these keyboard shortcuts. If you want to move one cell over at a time, you can simply use the right arrow or the left arrow. Alternatively, you can use the Tab button to move right or the Shift tab to move left. If you want to go to the last row in your spreadsheet, an easy way to do that would be to hit Control and then down, and that brings you right to the bottom. If you want to go to the top, just hit Control and then up. If you want to move all the way to the right or your last column in a table in Excel, just hit Control and then right. And alternatively, if you want to move left, just hit Control and then left. If you want to move one worksheet to the left or one worksheet to the right, you can use the Control plus Page Up or Page Down. So here we'll move one worksheet to the right, so we'll hit Control and Page Up. And now we'll move one worksheet to the right again. We'll hit Control and then Page Up. If we want to move to the left, we hit Control and then Page Up to move to the left. Page Down to move to the right, and Page Up to move to the left. Next, suppose we want to select all of the cells in a row. Well, we can hit Control, Shift, and the right arrow, and that will select all the cells in that row. Alternatively, suppose we want to select all of the cells in a column. Well, we can hit Control, Shift, and down. Now, suppose we start at the bottom here. We can also hit Control, Shift, up to select that entire column. Or suppose we start all the way on the left and we want to select the whole row. We can hit Control, Shift, left. Now, what if we want to instead select all of the rows and columns in this table? Well, we can hit Control, Shift, right, and then hit down while holding Control and Shift, and that will select all of the data. If we want to select one row at a time, we can hold Shift and then hit down, and this will select different amounts of data. So if we want to select from the bottom, for example, we can hit up to move our selection upwards, or we can move down to move it downwards. If we want to move our selection across, we can hit Shift and then right to move left, one cell at a time. Or if we want to move left, we just hit left while holding Shift. Now, if we want to select the entire column except the header, what we can do, assuming we're from the bottom, we can hit Control Shift Up, which selects the whole thing, but we don't want that header. So what we can do is we can hold Shift and then hit down to move our selection down one. And we can adjust this by holding Shift and hit down or up. We can also select multiple rows, or sorry, multiple columns by pressing the right or left arrow. Now suppose we want to select an entire row, except we don't want to select the last column for some reason. We can again use the left or right arrows to move our selection while holding the Shift key.